Hello, everybody. I'm Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And I know I say this at every episode, but today's guest is absolutely amazing. How often do you come across somebody? And we had some conversation with him about now 5 years ago. He's all over social media. He's all over Facebook. He's all over LinkedIn. He's absolutely not just amazing in what he does. He has something up his sleeve. He's going to share with you guys right after this. So my name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, and I'm really excited to introduce to our audience today, not just a guy who is a CIO of a company. He is a specialist in AI. He's an incredible, humble guy he works with companies of the top 500 level. Not only does he do all of that, he's an amazing human being. And I had the opportunity to meet him about 4 or 5 years ago now. And there's not a day goes by where I don't think of him or where I read about him or see what he does out in the marketplace. He's absolutely amazing, and you guys get to meet him today. And I want to welcome Manuj to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
So I know, what is it now? We met first time, what, 5 years ago? Was it about 5 years ago?
Well, I think it was right around the beginning of the pandemic. It was like around like May or April, May 2020, something like that. Yeah.
So, and I was amazed in what you do or what you did then. And I'm amazed on how you have grown this and where you have taken it. And you became one of the foremost experts around AI. And I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. But before we get started, tell our listeners where you're calling in from, what you currently do, and how did this whole thing start?
Sure. So I live in Vancouver, Canada. So that's where I'm calling from today. I run a company called TetraNoodle Technology. So we are an AI engineering company, a software technology company. What we focus on is, obviously a lot of people know AI is everywhere today, but most people don't understand how to utilize it, how to get a lot of benefit out of it. So we try to simplify that and implement AI for companies who want to automate their workflows, who want to adopt this technology and beat their competition. Because make no mistake, if people adopt it today, they will be the winners of tomorrow. If they don't adopt it, the people who adopt it will beat them really aggressively. So to simplify things, what we do is we combine multiple technologies. AI is just one of the technologies that we work with. So we work with robotics, automation, blockchain, and what we create is virtual AI employees, which are basically just a human equivalent of technology, but instead of replacing humans, they are augmenting humans, so that you can get more profitability, more efficiency, reduce costs in your business. So that's a little bit about what we do.
It is amazing. So, where did that come from? How did you, or where was that pivoting point where it says, I love technology. I love what it does. I want to be involved in it and I want to do something. What was that pivoting point for you to
Well, that
realize,
was, yeah, that was way back in like early 90s, like 1993. So internet was just sort of, I grew up in India in a small town, and obviously India was a developing country at that time, still is in many ways. But technology that was accessible to people in North America, that used to take about 4 to 5 years to arrive in India. So I did not have any access to the internet until I was like until 1998 or so. But growing up in a small town from humble beginnings, like I knew I wanted to change my life. I wanted to achieve more. And I also realized very early on, to achieve more, you need to create more value in the world. You need to provide more value to other people. And luckily, I found my passion in technology. So I started learning about programming, about computers, and I just fell in love with that. Especially, I was a extremely introverted child, and so I really liked the fact that I could talk to a machine and it doesn't talk back and it just obeys the orders. Moreover, I can just like program something and deploy it on 10,000 other computers and help thousands of people just with a few lines of code. And so all of this came together, and that's when I started learning about technology. So ever since then, I have always tried to stay ahead at the cutting edge of technology. So any new technology that comes in, we try to learn, we try to experiment with it. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing as in your profession of food industry. Like every day new innovations are coming out, and so if you want to be the best, you want to stay ahead of the competitions, learn what is happening in your industry, adopt new technologies, and continue to fail. I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand don't understand the value in failure, because once you fail at something new, you learn something new. And when you keep learning, keep growing, most people don't have the stamina to do that, but if you do have it, then you can really accelerate your growth.
I love that, and I love your story. And if people, follow your content, and I encourage our listeners to check you out a little bit more. You always talk about that you came, or you were in a place where you worked for $2 a day.
Hmm.
So there was this time you worked for $2 a day, but today you in the boardrooms of Fortune 500 companies, telling them how to run business. So
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit. How did that evolve? Where did you find, being an introvert? Where do you find the strength? Not just the strength to do it, but first of all, it's not an easy thing to do what you do, and the
Mhm.
second thing is you run up against some big players in those companies. So how did you evolve through this process?
One thing you realize is that life always happens for you, not to you. So, earning $2 a day, obviously, it was a painful experience. But when I look back, and also being an introvert is a blessing, because you observe the world, you look at what is happening, how things are moving, and your mind starts to incorporate these learnings in a mysterious way, like you don't even realize it. So being in a factory, factory is a machine that needs to produce mass quantities of something every day. You cannot have a factory which runs one day and then tomorrow nothing happens. And then within the factory there are complex processes and very high quality standards. So you put in a raw material worth thousands of dollars in one end, and you need to get a finished product with highest standards of quality on the other end.
Yeah.
And if you don't, all that is a loss, right? So now, at a young age, when you go through this day in and day out, your mind starts to absorb, hey, this is how you build large businesses, this is how you choreograph complex processes, this is how you make people work together with each other to produce something. And so once you incorporate that, then you add a layer of technology on top of it, then you add a layer of business sense on top of it. Then in my like my business, my software business, I've been really fortunate enough to work with multiple industries. So our clients come from real estate, education, healthcare. So you see how people do things in their industries, and once you start to absorb all that, your mind becomes like a kind of a it has a lot of tools in its tool chest to solve complex problems. So one thing you can do is, like, if you go into large company, Fortune 500 company, they have done this uh, business for decades and decades and decades,
Mhm.
and they are set in their ways. Okay, this is how we do things, and that's all we know. And
Yeah.
now you come in and you say, hey, okay, you're trying to solve this big problem, and you're doing this over and over again, thousands of tens of thousands of time in a day. Have you considered this simple solution that this other industry is using? And they'll
Hmm.
be like, we haven't even looked at that. I mean, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can just say, okay, I understand your reservation, but why don't we just try it at a small level and see if it's going to work for you? So it's just like cooking a good meal, right? Like you can take recipes from different cuisines, different spices, different ingredients, and then you put it together and you say, oh wow, this tastes really good, right? So that's the idea.
I love that analogy, and it's really awesome. And when I hear you talk about AI and technology, you make it sound so easy. There's a lot of people which have never used AI today. So, how do you demystify that whole AI for, or in a Fortune 500 companies where the leadership is against it or really not aware of that kind of technology?
So that's where a little bit of a human touch comes in. Again, uh, I talked about technology, working in a factory, in business, but also another part of my success has been meditation. So when you meditate
Hmm.
regularly, you really try to start to understand where people are coming from. You start to read their body language, their, what is written between the lines, not what they are saying, but what they are meaning. And so if we find resistance in their voice, how do you overcome those objections? Because here is a simple counter argument that, okay, if you're against technology, can you imagine running your business without electricity? Can
Hmm.
you imagine running your business without the internet? Can
Yeah, yeah.
you imagine running the business without the smartphone? So if you cannot, then sooner or later you're gonna have to adopt AI. So now it is up to you whether you want to be ahead of your competition or you want to stay behind. It is your choice. It is not my choice. I'm not pushing any agenda. It is your choice. And by the way, if you do it this way, these are the benefits you are going to get. You are going to save 50% on your operational cost. You are going to be more profitable than the next person or whatever. And if you don't do this, these are the costs of not doing it. So here are all the facts. Here are the industry news. Here are the experiments that we have conducted. These are the industry stats. And now it is up to you, Mr. CEO or Miss CEO, what do you want to do? And then you let them make their decision. And many people, they say, oh, I want to stay where I am, I don't want to move anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is their choice. But sooner or later, if you're thirsty, you're going to have to reach out and get a glass of water for sure.
I love that. So, what are the, I don't want to call it obstacles, but what is the biggest misconception about AI you encounter on your work almost on a daily basis?
Well, but the biggest one is, as you just said, like AI is here to take away our jobs. But most people don't realize that AI is not a new technology. It has been around for decades, first
Hmm.
of all. And the second thing is, everybody, I mean, I will say 99.9% of the people on this planet are already using AI. If you're using a smartphone, everything on that device is all controlled by AI. If you have used GPS to tell you the directions, you have used AI. If you have used social media to post or like or read anything, you are using AI. If you have ordered anything on Amazon and that package arrived the same day or the next day, you have used AI. So this misconception that AI is here to take away our job, people don't realize it, they are using it already. And um, and the next thing is that when I ask them, okay, what is the objective of your job? What is your long term objective with this job? And they're like, I want to work hard. I want to rise in my company. At 65, I'm going to retire. And then I'm going to enjoy my life. So I tell them, okay, imagine that you win a lottery tomorrow, you know and there is a huge payoff, and your bank account is full with money, and you do whatever, wherever you want to go. Will you still continue to work? Will you love your job? They're like, no, 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 I'll enjoy my life at that time, right? So then I say, okay, what if AI is that, like, giving you the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, while what you call your job, which produces money for you, it is being handled by a technology. That's what AI is. And so once you start to realize what AI is, how it benefits you, then this notion, these false kind of misconceptions that people have about this technology, how it's going to affect jobs and things of that nature, it starts to melt down.
I love the way you broke it down and simplified it. I absolutely love that. And I encourage our listeners to go back 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and listen what he just said about AI. Especially in our industry, in the hospitality industry, everybody feels AI is going to take away everything. Look, there's an AI coffee machine. Look at there's an AI, burger machine, and it will totally change our industry. So, from your perspective, you really heavily into AI. Where do you see some of the changes going to be, especially in the food service industry, and not just in food itself, but hospitality at large? Where do you see some of those things going to take hold, and where will it be a few years before this going to make an
Sure.
impact?
One thing you have to realize that jobs, business, economy, making money is not about repetitive processes. It's about human relationships.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about hospitality. When online booking services like Expedia and all that came along, people said, okay, travel agency business is all done. Like, there is no more need for travel agency, no more need for, like, booking
Yeah.
agencies for hotels. Like, it's done. But more importantly, now it is more important. Like, people want customized packages. People want to talk to a person and say, hey, this is what I want to experience, and don't give me cookie cutter solutions. So more and more in hospitality, you will see that a machine can make the coffee, but you will love to talk to a person and say, this is the kind of coffee I want.
Mhm.
You will love to talk to a person and say, hey, this is the kind of room and view I want. So that personal touch, that human empathy towards other people's needs, that is where the emphasis is going to be, and that is what going to become more and more and more valuable.
Yeah, I loved it. And there's also the concern of the user around security. So,
Mhm.
talk to us a little bit. What role does cybersecurity and data protection kind of play when implementing AI strategies?
Yeah. So let me again use analogy to simplify things. So think of an engine. An engine needs oil to run. So today, oil is one of the most precious commodities in the world. Wherever you have oil, there are wars being fought to control that region.
Mhm.
Now, think about AI as an engine of tomorrow's economy, where data is the oil.
Mhm.
Without data, there is no AI. Okay, so AI basically just processes huge amount of data to understand what is the pattern here, what is the value that we can create. So protecting data will be the key. So just like when we put our precious, like jewelry or diamonds in big safes,
Yeah.
data is going to be what we protect. So what does that mean? So take example of recent purchase of Twitter was bought out by Elon Musk for $44 billion. Now people don't understand, he actually didn't pay for the company, he paid for the data, because
Mhm.
the whole world's data about what they are talking about, what they are thinking, is Twitter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sure.
that is a very valuable asset. So moving forward, as we implement AI, as we digitize more and more and more stuff, protection of data will be the key. So when you implement AI, work with somebody who understands security. I cannot in a short conversation make somebody an AI cyber security expert. But just like today, we have specialized people who are security experts. They are
Yeah.
companies providing security services. They are weaponized. Some of them are responsible for moving large quantity of cash from one point to the bank, or whatever it is, right? There are specialized services around that. So think around, okay, when we are trying to digitize, who is very knowledgeable about cybersecurity? I have written a book on cybersecurity, so I can say this with authority. These are not the things that you want to, like, wing it, and you say, oh, okay, like, let me just put a $50 router, and that's my security. You really want to be serious about this, and you want to work with trained experts, just like you are working with trained experts to protect your money or jewelry
Yeah.
or gold today. Same thing, you want to do that with your data.
I love that, and thanks for kind of bringing that in, because for me, I think that's one of the reasons people really don't adapt AI as quickly as they should, because it can make a huge impact in your output on a daily basis. So where do you see AI going over the next 3 to 5 years? And then maybe you could give us an example where you, as an outsider, see a restaurateur or chef could take advantage of AI.
See, AI is going to be in every aspect of our life and business. So, a few things I will say share. Like CEO of Google has said, AI is more impactful than electricity or fire. Okay, so imagine that. Like fire was one of the first discoveries of mankind, which
Yeah, yeah,
allowed us to come out of the caves and build civilization. So think
yeah.
about that. That is the kind of impact it has. And why it is, like, let me just touch upon that as well. Because every other invention or discovery till date has been to augment the physical abilities of humans. So a car can help you run faster, a crane can help you lift heavier weights, but there has been never an invention that can augment your cognitive abilities, the thinking
Hmm.
abilities. So that is and human mind is the main thing that made us the most dominant species on the planet.
Yeah.
And now if you can augment your human thinking ability with the machine, that is the exponential growth curve on at the evolutionary level, at a human evolutionary level, that is happening, right? So a technology is going to help us evolve faster, find better ways of solving problems. Now in the culinary world, in the hospitality world, most of the repetitive tasks, like again, and I don't want to trigger anybody. Yes, there will be a job loss in the sense
Hmm.
of job displacement. So repetitive tasks of taking orders, making these simple things like coffees, maybe serving meals, these can be simply automated.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that a human touch will go away. Like if I walk into a restaurant today and there is no human serving me, it's going to be a very cold environment. And
Hmm.
food is an experiential thing. We want to experience
Absolutely
food
agree.
in a in
Absolutely
a in
agree.
an environment which gives us warmth, which gives us pleasant feelings. So the presence of a human greeting you, hey, asking you what will you like. So uh, today I'll give you an example. Just because humans have a tendency to follow certain path and do repetitive tasks, and we are not very versatile, let's face it, restaurants have to be forced to come up with a manageable menu and say, okay, I'm going to serve you these 30 items, so you have to pick, and that's what I will serve you. But
Hmm.
now imagine with AI and technology, you become a master chef. Anybody can become a master chef and have the ability to create a new dish according to the desire of the guest on the
Hmm.
fly. So then you have no restriction on the menu. You just ask, hey, welcome to my restaurant. What will you like to experience today? And I'll
Yeah.
make it for you.
I
Right?
love that. That's
Right?
exactly how I feel. I think it's going to be hyper personalized. And I always use, I use Whoop as one of things to measure myself. I think there's going to be a point where you can walk in and, you know what, my watch is going to tell me, hey, I exerted myself today. This is what I need to eat in order to recover better. Or, hey, I have these certain health challenges. The menu will not even allow me to order that or to see it. So I
Right.
love where you taking that. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, this word that you use, hyper personalization, that is the world we are going into, because
Mhm,
industrialization helped us scale the production of goods and bring the cost of the goods down, but
mhm.
we lost personalization. Like you can buy this shirt in three colors or and three sizes, that's it, because
Yeah.
there is no other way to produce it. But now you can see already happening, already there is, like, you can order a car, and you can say, okay, I want this car to be painted in the color of like this, my little girl's pink
Yeah.
bow
I
that
love
I gifted her on the first birthday, whatever, right? And they'll do it, like they'll just do it in a quick second, right?
I love that because for me, um, I just recently said, hey, I need to upgrade some of my suits, and I always had my suits custom made. Not far from here, there's a tailor. where he measures you via AI. No more,
Mhm, mhm,
measuring the old way.
mhm.
You come in, you stand in this room. It takes supposedly 5 minutes. They scan you. You pick the colors, the inside, and you go home when the suit
Yeah,
shows up.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, yeah,
So, by the way,
absolutely.
I can talk to you about this forever, but I want to be respectful of your time. So, for our listener, talk to us a little bit. What are you focusing on, Manuj, for the next 6 months? And what are you focusing on your business for the next 6 months?
So we are fully focused on, as I said, like deploying these virtual AI employees.
Hmm.
At this stage in the game, it's quite early still in the AI game. So we are looking for more and more impactful use cases. For example,
Hmm.
I just mentioned, the future of restaurants being hyper personalized. So
Yep.
if there are people who are fascinated by that, who want to experiment with something like this, who want to say, hey, the future is now and I want to do that now, those are the people we are working with. So we are helping teach music with AI. We are helping people
Love that.
test the environment with for toxic chemicals with AI. We are helping insurance agencies serve their clients better and faster with AI. We are helping real estate brokers connect with their their buyers and sellers in a better way with AI. So all of these things are happening with AI, and we are excited about that. But on the personal side, as I said, meditation has been a big part of my journey, and my one of my missions in life is to help people realize their full potential, help them meditate. But when I talk to people about meditation, generally they are like, oh, this is not for me. I am too busy. My mind is not uh, is quiet enough. I have too much in my mind. So one of the things that I have launched is how to use AI to help people meditate, and
Love
that has
that.
been a pretty game changer for me as well. So these are some of the things that we are focused on.
I know you talk a lot about meditation, and we had a very intriguing conversation, a few years ago. So, but what else? If you would have to peel it back, and there's a lot of our listeners today, which know that they're meant for more. They know they have transferable skills. They know they can serve humanity and their community much better in a different way. Where do you see what was a single, not just a key or two? What do you kind of go back and say, this was my pivoting moment? This what sets me apart, and this was a key to my success.
Well, I wish I could say like there was one pivotal moment. Is everything? It's like human experience is a layer upon layer upon layer kind of thing. Just like oil or diamonds are built over millions of years. Every human is like that. But I believe the key is finding good mentors, finding
Mm.
people who can see the potential in you better and faster than you can see. Because as humans, we need a mirror to see how we look like. We cannot even see our own face.
Hmm.
So without that human mirror, without that person saying, hey, I have seen the world, I have more experience than you, and I know you can do this,
Yeah.
even though you may not realize it, but you can do this. And then they show you the path, they encourage you, they provide you with some connections, they provide you with some resources. I think those are the turning moments, and every turn I meet somebody who triggers a new thought in me,
Mhm.
is that moment of, oh, now I am up leveling, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely love that. So, last question before I have a request. I want to see if you're up to play something we call Rapid Fire Question Food Service Edition. But before we do this, if there is a chef, hospitality professional who wants to start tipping their foot in AI, where do you recommend them they should start?
Start with, here is the thing, like start with baby steps, what they are comfortable with. Let's say if they are running a business, in every business 80% of the revenue is produced by 20% of the effort. The rest
Hmm.
of the 80% is just like mundane repetitive work. So I'd say focus on that 80% of the repetitive work and see where you can remove some of your costs, accelerate the the process.
Mhm.
Personalization is another one where you can start to see, okay, how can AI personalize the experience for my guests? As humans we are all unique, and when you treat somebody with their uniqueness, they just fall in love with you, and they will never ever let go of that relationship. So
Yeah,
using
yeah.
AI, especially in hospitality industry, personalization, removing repetitive tasks, saving costs, those are the things that I will say. And then if you are creative enough, take it one step further, and you can say, hey AI, give me a new recipe with these ingredients, and let me try a new recipe that has been suggested by AI.
I
Many,
love
many,
that.
many things are possible. Yeah,
Thank you, thank you. So I can talk to you forever, but are you up for playing rapid fire question food service edition?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
Okay, with
absolutely.
that, I want to say thanks. Let's start. So my team gives me brand new questions every week, and you actually have next week's question. And we have 25 questions. What we would like to do is you give me a number between 1 and 25, and then we're going to ask the question and we let you answer it. So our listeners learn a little bit more about you.
Sure,
So, with
sure.
that, give me a number between 1 and 25.
It's 23.
23? Okay, 23. If you could make a food calorie free without changing its taste, what would it be and why?
Yeah, so obviously I grew up in India. I like spicy flavors. I like tangy flavors. So one of my favorite dishes is tandoori chicken. If people haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It's a good as a snack, as dinner, and it's like just it's roasted chicken with a lot of spices, Indian spices on it. So it's not very heavy on calorie, but if I can make that calorie free and still enjoy the flavor, that'll be awesome.
I love that. I can totally get behind that.
Mhm.
Okay, another number between 1 and 25.
15.
15.
Mhm.
Ooh, what is the most ridiculous kitchen tool you have ever seen?
Uh, they were, I saw somebody uh, put these forks on fingers. So they had like rings attached to these
I
forks,
know exactly what you're talking about.
and then they put them on each of the fingers, and then now they can just eat with their hands, and it was kind of funny but efficient,
Oh
and
my
yeah.
God, that's the best.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Let's make that go away.
Mhm.
Another number between 1 and 25.
Let's go with 7.
Ooh, who is one of the chefs you would want to do a cook off against?
Um, maybe yourself, I guess. You are yeah, you are a very renowned chef. Like from what I know, like you have even cooked for presidents, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like
I
what
appreciate
better?
it. We're not going to do tandoori chicken. Okay, another
Yeah.
number between 1 and 25.
Um, let's go with 25.
25. If you could create a food hybrid like coconuts or Turk coconuts, what would it be?
Food hybrid. Okay, this is a little bit more technical than my skill set. Um, I think I'll probably I'll probably experiment with some spices. Like I feel
Yeah.
like spices are what make the food taste better, and there are a lot of spices around the world that people haven't tried, different cuisines. So I will
Mm,
try to experiment with that.
I love that. I love that. It's really cool. I would like to try that too. Okay, last question. Give me a number between 1 and 25.
Let's go with 3.
3. What is the most overused ingredient in food service right now?
It's, it's got to be salt. Is that right?
It probably is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in your opinion, you think it's salt?
I think so. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
salt and water. I mean, it goes in every dish, right?
yeah, I appreciate it. So
Yeah,
with that, I want to say thank you for playing rapid fire question food service edition.
yeah, that's
So
fun.
Manush, I just want to say thanks for being here. Thanks for giving so freely of the gift of your time, and thanks for sharing your take on AI. It's absolutely amazing. You need to promise us to do a 2.0
Right, absolutely.
because I honestly feel our industry is so on the verge of, or it needs a makeover, but I think it's so close on the verge of a major makeover. Look
Mhm.
at the kitchen equipment we cook on the days from the 50s,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
most of the kitchen designs. So I think I know there's a revolution coming, and hopefully AI has something to do with that. And I love the way you look at AI. I love the way you explain and make it AI approachable. I would like to have this conversation again for our listeners if you're up for it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, um, last word of advice from you. If somebody wants to start and do what you do, what advice would you give them?
The journey of 1,000 miles starts with first step. So whatever you want to do, get clarity on what you want to do. Again, AI can help. There is a concept called ikigai, a Japanese
Yep.
concept, which helps you find your life purpose. So start there. Help if you don't know what your life purpose is, ask AI to help you find the life purpose, and then take the first baby step towards that. Again, AI is here to help. Um,
Awesome.
I'll give you one last thing is AI is going to generate about $100 trillion. 100, that's, I can't even count the zeros in that, but $100 trillion in the next 6 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So there's going to be more billionaires made, more millionaires made through AI than any time in history. So there is your incentive to get started.
I love it. And I really appreciate it. This conversation is so good, so good. So I want to say thanks again for being here. Thanks for the gift of your time. We really appreciate you being here, and thanks for calling in. And thanks for making yourself available. I know you moved your schedule around to be with us here today. So I
Right.
just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you join disruptivechef.club, our private community, so you get more behind the scene glimpses, you get updates and upcoming episodes. And also, if you have to and don't know where to start, come to our website and to our social media. A great way for you to start and get to know some of the interesting guests we bring to you. So, with that, thanks again for being here today. And to our listener, until next time, remember to disrupt your kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm here as Christian, the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, with my guest, Mr. Manuj. We are out of here. So we are signing off. Go be the change, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire.